As Remembrance Day approaches, we commemorate the agreement that ended the First World War. We remember the soldiers who served and sacrificed their lives for an eventual Allied victory. There are countless individuals who contributed to the Great War that we don't hear much about. For example, did you know that Muslims in Canada fought on the side of the Allies? There weren't very many Muslims living in Canada at the time, so it might come as a bit of a surprise. 22 Muslims are reported to have participated. Private Hasan Amat was the only known soldier who was killed in action. He was originally from Singapore. On official documents, his religion was listed as Mohammedan. He died at the age of 23 at the Battle of Hill 70 in France. His name is listed on the Vimy memorial. It wasn't just Muslims who participated in the Great War. Many others did as well. Minorities frequently had to settle for lesser roles, like digging trenches or building things. Blacks, Jews, indigenous peoples, Chinese and Japanese immigrants, they all had difficulty being accepted. They faced racism. They were told they weren't good enough to enlist. They had to hide their identities. Imagine how tough it must have been to enlist and fight while being made to feel that they didn't belong, that they weren't trusted because of their place of origin or ancestry or color of their skin. But still, they tried. And if we extend our gaze even further, we see that more than 400,000 Muslim soldiers fought on Britain's side. The British Army had suffered great losses and needed help. India was a British colony. It included Pakistan and Bangladesh. So Britain drafted the Indian Army to aid in the war. Altogether, more than 885,000 Muslims fought, sacrificed, and died for the Allied cause during the First World War. That includes frontline soldiers, trench builders, and transporters who came not just from India, but from places like Egypt, Algeria, and Tunisia. Researchers have recently discovered lots of photographs, field reports, and personal diaries. There are private letters in Urdu, Arabic, and Farsi that never made it home. They were intercepted by army authorities. There are also secret internal documents. They show that the British were keeping an eye on Muslim soldiers for fear that they might defect to the Ottoman side. To prevent that from happening, the British tried to accommodate Muslims and be culturally sensitive. They showed respect for religious rituals, like the need to pray or the need for Muslim burial rites. Looking at these documents, researchers say that the number of Muslims participating in the First World War could be even higher, up to 3 million. We can only imagine how difficult it must have been, not just to endure the usual struggles of a soldier, but also to adapt to life on a new continent, far away from their families and friends and all that they were familiar with. But even after Muslims and other minorities laid down their lives in a war that wasn't of their making, they were neglected and forgotten. They returned to societies rife with institutionalized racism, societies that didn't want them. And that forgottenness extends to history. Muslims continue to be seen as the enemy within, as newcomers to the West, as disloyal and untrustworthy, as people who benefit from rights they had no part in gaining. On Remembrance Day, let's return these neglected narratives to their rightful places in our country's memories. As we remember European soldiers, let's remember too the hundreds of thousands of Muslims and countless other minorities who fought alongside the Allies and sacrificed their lives in what was intended to be the war to end all wars. I'm Safiyyah Ali for Let the Quran Speak.